Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Wednesday, December 18th. Over the last 30 days, we've had good amounts of precipitation across especially the southern half of the Great Basin, where we've seen above normal precipitation over southern Utah, southern Nevada, and the Arizona Strip. We've had much less precipitation further north, and over central Idaho and western Wyoming, the precipitation has been below normal. Over the last 72 hours, we have had some new snowfall over parts of Utah and the Arizona Strip. And snowpack is in the image on the right, so we do have a good snowpack over parts of the Sierra and over parts of Utah. However, looking at how that compares to normal, you can see that we are seeing below normal snowpack over much of Idaho into western Wyoming, and generally near normal snowpack elsewhere across the Great Basin, only slightly above as you move in the far south where recent precipitation has occurred. So due to this recent precipitation, we don't really have any drought concerns across the Great Basin. A little bit drier than normal conditions up across Idaho, but again, nothing too significant across the Great Basin. Looking at the satellite image from this morning, you can see an area of low pressure near the California coast, which will move eastward across the area throughout today. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, that trough moves eastward, and we will have some clouds and some showers across the Great Basin with generally poor dispersion region-wide. Looking at the transport winds, we will see some gusty winds over parts of Nevada into southwest Utah and the Arizona Strip out ahead of that storm system. And it looks like mixing heights will generally be in the moderate range over southern and western areas and fairly low over the eastern half of the region. On Thursday, that system quickly moves off to the east, only bringing some light amounts of precipitation. Otherwise, we will see a return for poor dispersion across the area and some clouds and showers in the north with drier conditions over southern areas. We will still have some breezy winds on Thursday in the far north, but looks like most gusts will be below 25 or 30 miles per hour. Otherwise, dispersion will remain poor, with lower mixing heights in the southern half of the region and only moderate mixing heights over parts of southern Idaho. On Friday, we will see generally quiet conditions with poor dispersion in between systems, with another system moving in off the west coast. Generally lighter winds on Friday with poor mixing heights region-wide. Looking at the forecast clearing index for Utah as we move into the next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, we will see generally low clearing indices region-wide across the state, with the exception of southwest Utah today, where those winds will be a little bit breezier. However, for the most part, clearing indices will remain low. The only precipitation we will see over the next few days will be over parts of Idaho into Wyoming, with a heavier precipitation off into the northwest and northern California. As we go into the weekend, we will see that trough of low pressure inch a little bit closer to the Great Basin, with still generally quieter conditions on Saturday, maybe some breezy winds over Idaho and western Nevada ahead of this area of low pressure, and an increase in clouds, but no precipitation expected. Mixing heights will remain relatively low. Looking on Sunday, that trough starts to move in. We may see some showers in the north along with some cloud cover, and generally lower mixing heights, but a little bit higher over southern areas of the Great Basin as that wind picks up out ahead of the trough. On Monday, this area of low pressure will start digging southward along the California coast, and it will allow clouds to increase across the region and some showers across much of the Great Basin. Again, low mixing heights with the exception of southern and eastern Utah, which is where those winds out ahead of the trough will still be breezy. On Tuesday, that area of low pressure drops into the Baja Peninsula well south of the area, so precipitation will be exiting, and ventilation index will remain low. Precipitation over the next several days, this only takes us into Monday morning. The precipitation is generally west of the area. As we move towards Tuesday and Wednesday, we will see some lighter showers move across the Great Basin. Looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us into the end of December, we are seeing below normal temperatures for the western half of the Great Basin and a better potential for above normal precipitation across the southern 2/3 of the region. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Friday for the latest updates.